of the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. Book 2, Admonitions leading to the Spiritual Life. Chapter 9, of the Want of all Solace. It is no great matter to despise all human solace, when we have that which is divine. It is a great thing, and very great, to be able to do without all solace, both human and divine, and to be willing to bear this exile of the heart for the honor of God, and in nothing seek self, and not to have regard to one's own merit. What a great thing is it if thou be cheerful and devout when grace comes to thee! This is an hour desirable to all. He rides at ease whom the grace of God carries. And what wonder if he feel no burthen, who is carried by the Almighty, and led on by the sovereign guide? We are glad to have something to comfort us, and it is with difficulty that a man can put off himself. The holy martyr Lawrence, with his priest, overcame the world, because he despised whatever seemed delightful in this world. And for the love of Christ, he also suffered the high priest of God, Sixtus, whom he exceedingly loved, to be taken away from him. He overcame therefore the love of man by the love of the Creator, and instead of human solace, he made choice rather of the good pleasure of God. So do thou also learn to part with some familiar and beloved friend for the love of God. And take it not to heart when thou art forsaken by a friend, knowing that one time or other we must all part. A man must go through a long and great conflict within himself before he can learn fully to overcome himself, and to draw his whole affection towards God. When a man stands upon himself, he easily falls off to human consolation. But a true lover of Christ, and a diligent follower after virtue, does not fall back on consolations, nor seek such sensible sweetnesses, but is rather willing to bear strong trials and hard labors for Christ. Therefore, when God gives spiritual comfort, receive it with thanksgiving, but know that it is the gift of God, not thy desert. Be not puffed up, be not overjoyed, nor vainly presume, but rather be the more humble, because it is a gift, and the more cautious and wary in all thy actions. For this hour will pass away, and temptation will follow. When consolation shall be taken away, do not presently give up hope, but wait with humility and patience for the heavenly visit. For God is able to give thee back again a fuller consolation. This is no new thing, nor strange to those who have experienced the ways of God. For in the great saints and ancient prophets, this has often been the way, that the one changes for the other. Hence one said at the time when grace was with him, In my abundance, I said, I shall never be moved. But when grace was withdrawn, he immediately tells us what he experienced in himself. Thou didst turn away thy face from me, and I was troubled. Yet in the meantime he despairs not, but more earnestly prays to the Lord, saying, To thee, O Lord, will I cry, and I will pray to my God. At length he receives the fruit of his prayer, and witnesses that he was heard, saying, The Lord hath heard me, and hath had mercy on me. The Lord hath become my helper. But how? Thou hast turned for me, saith he, my mourning into joy, and thou hast compassed me with gladness. If it has been thus with great saints, we that are weak and poor must not be discouraged, if we are sometimes fervent, sometimes cold, because the Spirit comes and goes according to the good pleasure of his will. Wherewith blessed Job saith, Thou visitest him early in the morning, and thou provest him suddenly. Wherein then can I hope, or in what should I trust, but in the sole great mercy of God, and in the sole hope of heavenly grace? For whether I have with me good men, or devout brethren, or faithful friends, or holy books, or fine treatises, or sweet singing and hymns, all these help little, and give me but little relish, when I am forsaken by grace, and left in my own poverty. Then there is no better remedy than patience, and the denial of myself according to the will of God. I have never found any one so religious and devout as not to have sometimes a withdrawing of grace, or to feel some decrease of fervor. No saint was ever so highly rapt and illuminated as not to be tempted before or after. For he is not worthy of the high contemplation of God who has not been exercised with some tribulation for the sake of God. For temptation is usually the sign going before the consolation which follows it. For heavenly consolation is promised to such as have been proved by temptation. To him that overcometh, saith he, I will give to eat of the tree of life. But divine consolation is given, that a man may be better able to support adversities. And temptation follows, that he may not be puffed up because of the good. The devil sleeps not, neither is the flesh yet dead. Therefore thou must not cease to prepare thyself for battle. For on the right hand and on the left are enemies that never rest. And that concludes Chapter 9 of Book 2 of the Imitation of Christ.